Okay, so yeah, Gary Webster, I'm one of the co-founders of Glic. We set up in 2016, same time as you guys apparently, and we've been at it ever since. And what we've invented and developed is what we now call a smart hitch, which is an autonomous method of connecting a vehicle to a trailer. And we had absolutely no clue that it would have a defence application when we started on it. It was an annoyance, a personal annoyance, that I had to always connect my daughter's horse box, and it was always in the rain, and it was always a pest. So I came along, I don't know, 3.5 years ago, to a meeting such as this in Aberdeen. It was really addressed at the oil industry in Aberdeen, I think, and I sauntered up to Deborah at the end of the meeting and said, I don't work in the oil industry anymore, but I've got this crazy idea. Deborah took it forward, and within days of me providing a very primitive prototype video, said, put in a proposal, there's some interest in the army. And the reason there's interest in the army is because the army are trying to remove people from the logistics supply chain to frontline troops. And if you take a trailer to the front line but still need a person to disconnect it, you've kind of wasted your money on your autonomous vehicle. So that's how we ended up with a contract with DASA. So this is a much slicker little video we've got of our caravan horsebox version, if you like, and I'll just show you just so you know what it does. And by the way, this was developed by a postgraduate student from Aberdeen University. He did a fantastic job for us. So that's it. So basically, you press a button on the dashboard, and the trailer, the vehicle will connect to your trailer or disconnect from it, whichever button you press. You don't have to leave your seat. You don't have to get wet anymore. So it's pretty handy. So then Deborah asked me to come to do a speech on what has DASA done for us, and DASA provided us with £100,000 of funding when nobody would, and we developed a military prototype when nobody would fund that, because nobody would dream of funding a military application, because if the army aren't interested in it, then what's the point, kind of thing. So they gave us some money, and from that we built the whole thing, really. And so what did DASA do for us? They did everything for us. They've done everything to get us to where we are. But more than the money, I think, or at least as important as the money, are the other things. The technical advice they provided us with, the feedback on what we were doing, the testing of the kit, just everything about it has been an unbelievable help to a startup company. So I would encourage anybody who has a vague thought that they just might have a military application to their invention to give it a shot. The actual details of what we had to do are there. I won't repeat them. People can read them if they're interested. But there was a specific scope that we were contracted to provide, and we did. And then at the end of it, they test it. And this is down at, I probably shouldn't say where it is, but somewhere in England where they test all their military vehicles. That's one of the guys in charge of the site. And they're just brilliant at what they do. That you can't, for those who don't drive vehicles much, if you look at the wheel here, it's at its most extended, and this big wheel here is at its least extended, and he's positioned it to test the twist on our military hitch, which you can hardly see in the picture, but he'd found the spot to test this thing, and test it he did. They tipped it up and down, they tipped it upside down, they did everything possible to this thing that we hadn't tried before we went down there. So You know, it was fingers crossed. And then they drove it through this. I don't know if it'll work as well.
This did work.
Yeah, it will. So this is our little hitch. I mean, I was stood here incredibly nervous because, like, here we go. And you just, you know, you can't imagine you've tested it on a bench and in my paddock. But then the army get hold of it. And they did this for 3 days. It was fantastic, really. They got it stuck. They did everything possible to find its faults, and then provided positive feedback on how to fix them. So, you know, what did DASA do for us? So, and on top of all of that, as I say, we got the money, we got the credibility with stakeholders. If we go to investor presentations and say the army are investing in our thing, then they all of a sudden go, well, it's not just Gary and his bonkers idea. They've offered the support, testing, and yeah, positivity. Every time there was a problem of any sort, they were keen to find the solution. So that's it. I haven't got any more to say. For me, if you've got an interest in anything that might vaguely have a military application, I would encourage you to speak to Deborah or Anis and take it forward. And that's it. Thank you.